Good morning. I'm just reading some stuff on the screen. So, this video is gonna be about uh, that you're not gonna be considered for deportation by immigrations. One, if you already went to court, immigration court, and the judge gives you stay of deportation. Let's say you went to immigration court and you apply for asylums or some other immigration benefit, and the immigration judge gives you withholding of removal, you haven't committed any crimes after that, you're not going to be considered for deportation. Second, you're not going to be deported if you're in the country with the legal status and you have not committed a crime and your legal status is valid, it hadn't expired, you haven't overstayed your visas, you will not be considered for deportation. You have nothing to worry about. uh, if you in the country and you're a citizen, of course you're not going to get deported. Same exact thing. If you have a legal status in the country, you haven't been convicted of a crime, you will not gonna get deported. The immigration right now, they're looking for people that enter the country, come into the country illegally. They smuggle themselves into the country. Those are the people that the government is looking to deport. And even that is not a priority. They're looking for people that are convicted, that enter the country illegally, and then they are convicted of a crime. You see people that come into the country illegally, and then they get a gun, they go around conducting robberies, crimes. Those are the people the government is looking to deport. If you have a legal status in the United States, your legal status have not been expired, that you haven't overstayed, you're not gonna be considered for deportation. If you went to immigration court and the judge gives you a stay of deportation, if a judge already gives you withholding of removal, you're not gonna be considered for deportation. The immigration is not looking for you. You're not going to be, you have nothing to worry about. So there's a lot of misinformation going on. People are confused, and there is absolutely nothing to worry about if you have not entered the country illegally and then committed a crime. The government priority is they're looking in the court record for people that are convicted of crimes, and then they take that public record or whatever the conviction records. That's how they go into house to house and find people to deport. And so if you haven't committed a crime, and there is really nothing for you to worry about, and don't stay in the same house of people that are illegal in the country and that have conviction on their records. Because if you're living with someone in the same house that have committed a crime, convicted of a crime, and then you're living with them, the immigration coming looking for them in the house, and you also don't have a legal status, you come to the country illegally, the immigration, of course, they're gonna catch you as well. They're gonna take you with that guy. You're gonna get deported. That's why you see people that haven't committed a crime, but they live with the criminal that have committed a crime, that have no legal status to be in the United States. So again, to go back, if you're in this country with the legal status, you are not gonna be deported. You're not gonna, immigration don't care about you. They're not looking for people that are not criminal. If you have, let's say you have criminal record, you're convicted of some crimes, and the judge, immigration, charge you with it. Immigration pick you up, and they bring you to the immigration court, let's say long time ago, and then the immigration court decided to give you a relief. They allow you to stay. They dismiss the government charges, and then you in the United States working, using a work permit. You haven't committed a crime since that time. You're not you're not gonna be a priority for a deportation. You know, a lot of, even if you're supposed to check in with immigration, let's say you are supposed to check in with immigration, and the condition is the judge say we're not going to deport you to your country, but you have to check in with immigration every once a year, once every 6 months or whatever. As long as you have that paper that says your deportation is being withheld, that means they hold, the judge gives you a withholding of removal. The immigration is not looking for you. If you haven't committed a crime since that time, if you committed a crime since the time the judge gives you a relief, you committed new crimes like robberies, theft, or some crimes, then you will be, because that's the condition. You have violated the condition of your probation. That's just something I think to keep in mind. Don't be so worried about deportations if you are not criminal. I know a lot of guys that have been given a second chance in immigration court. This is like 3, 5, 6, 7 years ago. The judge gives them a withholding of removal, and they're not going to be deported. They check in with immigration once a year. And then, of course, they check in with immigration. Even guy checking with immigration yesterday. They're not looking for him because he hasn't committed new crime since the time the court give him the stay of removal. So I think that is something to be aware of. That immigration is not looking for people that have not committed a crime. Most of the people that the immigration is looking for right now are people that are coming to the country illegally, and then they committed a crime, and they're released from the court. Because if you committed a crime and then you get released from the court, of course your name is already in the court system. They're gonna look at your name, your criminal convictions. That's what the immigration is going with right now. They're going over the list of people that have been convicted with crimes from the court, whatever state that you're in. If you're convicted of crimes, the immigration will print that out and then go to your home to pick you up. That's how they're conducting this deportation right now. They're looking for people that are convicted. You know. Let's see. This is the coffee. So morning coffee. I'm just waking up right now. So if I were you, I won't worry too much. Because if you think about it, this whole thing about immigration is out of proportion and is being misunderstood. If someone, imagine you are, even if you're a citizen, you went to court, you're convicted of a crime, and the judge ordered you to come do your time, do your prison time, and you never show up to court. Of course, if they catch you, they're gonna bring you to court to do your time. Same logic with immigrant. What is happening is a lot of these illegal immigrant. That means that the people that enter the country without any paperwork, they committed a crime thinking, I don't have the paperwork, so I can commit all the crimes that I wanted to because I cannot be traced. Government don't know who I am. They cannot trace the crime back to me, so I get away with it. That's the kind of mind behind these immigrants that committed crimes. But once the government catch them, convict them, with crimes in a regular court, and then they get released, they never show up. They never show up to do their times for the convictions. The fact that they have a criminal record in itself is a problem because they are not legal. They don't have a legal status in the country. For you to get a legal status in the United States, you have to have no criminal records. I'm talking about huge criminal records. I'm not talking about like traffic tickets. Immigration, they don't care about traffic tickets. They don't care about jaywalking. They don't care about little crimes. But if you committed like a home carjacking, stealing someone's car, stopping someone with a knife, doing the robberies, those are huge crimes. Unacceptable, because if you are a guest in someone's house, if you're a guest in someone's country, you're supposed to be respectful. You're supposed to be know that you are a guest in someone's house. Carry yourself in a way that is respectful to the whole society. Carry your weight so that you're not doing anything to upset the society that allow you to come into their home. This is a country. Every country is like a home. It's like a home. If I invite someone in this home and then they start destroying my home, I'm gonna kick them out. That's just the way life is. That's the way the society they have borders as well. They come in the fact of someone coming into the country illegally in itself is a crime, but that is really not the driving force for this deportation things. The reason why this deportation become a huge problem is because people are committing crimes. You see what happened in Colorado, where the immigrant take over the whole apartment building, big apartment buildings, with guns. Imagine that, the amount of audacity, the amount of the fact that the fact that they think they can do that in a foreign country, where you come in with blazing guns, take over some apartment, go around and robbing the banks, taking someone's cars, killing people all over the place, thinking, because you can do that somehow. What kind of brain is that? You are in a foreign country. You're supposed to have sense of pride in yourself, in your people, the country you come from. You're supposed to have respect. Carry the image of your people, of your country, in the back of your mind, that anytime you committed a crime, it reflects back on your people, on your society. And that should be the reason why it keeps you away from committing crimes, because it doesn't only affect you, it affects your nationality, your race, your people. And as you can see, and it affects all these Spanish gangs that are doing those criminal things in Colorado, going through apartment with guns, kidnapping and killing, and all this crime reflect back on the Spanish community in Mexico, Mexican immigrant in general, Latin America. This is not good for the image of your people. So it's also reflect upon the Latin community, the Spanish community. They should fight back against these groups. This small group committing crime in the name of Spanish immigrant, Latin immigrant, is giving the Latin immigrant, Spanish immigrant, huge, terrible reputations, bad reputations. In their society, they have to fight back against this group as well. But overall, the purpose of the video is, you're not gonna get deported if you have not committed a crime, okay? And you have a legal status in your country. It doesn't matter if you're an immigrant, if you're born in the country, you're not gonna get deported. You see what I'm saying? I have legal status, right? It's not gonna affect me. Even if I have committed, let's say I have traffic tickets, speeding tickets, it doesn't matter. If you have at least you kill somebody with your car, like speeding, you lost control and you run into somebody dies. Even that in itself, if it's an accident, you in the country legally, it's gonna be exactly the way they deal with the accident when the U.S. citizen was involved in an accident. Yeah, it's not gonna affect your legal status, because you're not gonna be charged with anything. And so that's what I would say. Oh, let's see, read some comment. So it's definitely something to consider. But if you are in the country, a lot of people that are worrying right now, I'm getting a lot of people that I know that have went through the immigration court before. Now they worry that they may be considered for deportations. This is not going to be the case. If you already went through immigration court, that you have given a relief. Let's say if a judge gives you that you can stay in the United States and and even if it's just you get a status for what they call CAT or withholding of removal based on conviction against torture. If you get that status, you're not gonna be deported. That's not what the immigration is looking for. If you have a green card in the country or any status, it doesn't matter if you have a visitor status, work visas, as long as you have not violated your condition of that status, you're not gonna be deported. If you're in the country and your visa did not expired, you remember, if your visa expires, let's say your work visa expires, your student visa expires, whatever, you're gonna receive a letter that say your status expires, you have to leave the country. If you ignore that letter, just like if you ignore a letter from the court in the United States, even if you're a US citizen, if you receive a letter from the judge in the United States court, and the judge say that you have been convicted of the crime that you committed, you have to come to court. If you ignore that, of course you're gonna get arrested. Why is this? This should not be a surprise. If you get a letter from the government that is very serious like this, don't ignore it. And if you ignore it, if you just hide and work under the table, and the immigration, and you committed a crime on top of that, you committed a crime, the immigration, the ICE is going to go through the court system, they're going to find your name on there. This person have committed this crime this day, and then they're going to leave. They're going to find where you live based on your driver license, the public benefit, if you get full stamp or whatever whatever government assistance you received. They will look it up, they will find where you live, and they will come and pick you up. It's and if you're working, they also know where you live based on the employees. When every time they give you a check, they cut your taxes out of your check, and that's gonna show up in the government database. They know where you work as well, unless you're completely working under the table with no paper trace. Even with that, if immigration conducted like a business, they go into businesses, they catch people. They're not gonna let you go unless they find out the status of each person. Once they find out the status of your status from the fingerprint, they know where you are. So if you have a legal status, the deportation is not for you. You're not gonna get worry about deportations. And if you are already have relief from the court, withholding of removal or any kind of relief, you went through immigration court before, you're not gonna get deported. And the immigration priority right now is for people that have entered the country illegally, no paperwork. They didn't go through the proper form of entry. Normally, when you come to the United States, either you apply for refugee status at the border. Most of the time, you never even make it to the border because the United States is on the other side of the ocean. You apply for relief in your country. You go to the U.S. Embassy, you apply for refugee status or whatever. Once you get that, you're going through the whole process. They give you the paperwork, to come to United States. But if you skip all that, you just fly over to the border and then enter the country illegally, that is not going to work. That is for every country in the world. Try that with any country, even in Africa. If you try to go into Kenya, for example, without any paperwork, they will arrest you and throw you out of the country. If you go into Uganda, if you go into Iraq, if you go into Saudi Arabia, if you go into Russia without legal process, if you just walk into the country, they will throw you out. The idea that you can walk into this country, the US, and then you should not be asked for to register to go through the legal process. It's just insane to me. Anyway, that's the video for today. If you have any question, feel free to leave it in the comment. Stay tuned.